thought of fall pruning, and have you thought whether or not it's beneficial or harmful? If you are thinking about fall pruning, then this is the video for you. Because in some cases, fall pruning may be beneficial. In other cases, fall or early winter pruning may be harmful. So today's video, we're going to be looking at whether or not you should fall prune. Pruning in the fall can cause winter damage, as well as it can cause some moisture damage in areas that are particularly moist in the fall season. However, fall cutting back or pruning can actually be heavily beneficial for overwintering certain perennials, as well as preventing winter damage on very specific plants. So today's video, we're going to be going over which perennials you should be pruning. So number one plants you should be pruning is ones that have a hard time overwintering. So in the case of my rose, I've been noticing lackluster growth over the last 2 years, and I think it's because it's getting a little bit stressed during the winter season. So the best way to ensure I can mulch my plant properly, which if you didn't watch my video on overwintering perennials, then go check that out. But one thing I do mention is proper mulching. And proper mulching means being able to put some sort of system around the plant, whether it's a bucket or a very specific mulching container, and then being able to fill that up with shredded leaves or newspaper or cotton, whatever the case is, to be able to insulate it properly. Now, obviously, these containers are only built to a certain size, and so pruning back of that plant will be beneficial. Not only do roses like the abuse, but it will allow me to properly mulch something in an incredibly cold climate such as my zone 3, which will give me better results in the summer. So if you live in Chinook country or an area that you get a lot of freeze thaws throughout your winter season, consider this. Consider being able to surround mulch your plant, and you will see really great results. And to achieve this, consider cutting these back. Now, the tool you're gonna see me use in this video is a mini chainsaw. So obviously you can use clippers, but the mini chainsaw is incredibly quick, and I will leave a link down below as how you can get this off Amazon, but I really like this little bugger. It comes with extra chains as well as 2 batteries, and it let me get my entire garden done in less than an hour, so definitely check it out. Wet snow, so snow that actually is wet and heavy that will pull down on branches, then this is definitely something you want to consider. The cutting back of these plants will prevent breakage, which is incredibly dangerous, not only for surrounding structures if you have them, but as well as for the plant. This damage tends to cause cracking, and water can seep in, which will cause more freeze thaw, which will ultimately potentially kill your plant. So if you have branches that are sticking out awkwardly that you know bear the weight of snow, then cut these back before the damage happens. The other case where you may choose to cut back a plant that normally shouldn't be cut back in the fall is if you have broken branches or branches that appear to be close to breaking. These ones you want to cut back sooner rather than later to again prevent water from infiltrating into that plant and causing that freeze thaw cycle, which will ultimately cause more cracking and breakage, which will cause more rot, will limit the ability for that plant to overwinter appropriately. Now, the third scenario in which you would actually trim a plant back in the fall is in the case of evergreens. So you may use these for decor, which is completely fine because it's beautiful decor, or in my case, I use it for potpourri when I have people over in the fall, winter months. I love a evergreen plant that's been boiled for a period of time on the stovetop. And these are definitely plants you can not only cut in the fall, but actually into the winter season as well. You can use these for decor, but also if you want to get a specific structure, structural look or appearance to that plant, or trim it up appropriately, then this is the time to do it. Here in the fall or winter time, even if you wanted to. You can obviously do this You can trim evergreens any time of the year, but in the spring is probably one of the worst times to trim it because we get a lot of new growth spring into summer. You can actually make really good syrups out of this, by the way. There's a book. I will insert a photo of said book. That book has a lot of recipes in it. One of them is spruce tips. I digress. But you don't want to cut them in the spring. You want to cut them now in the winter, that sort of time, to allow for that new growth to take place when the springtime does finally hit. So that's all I have for you guys on pruning your fall plants, or your plants in the fall or winter in many cases. If you need to, if something breaks in the winter, please cut it back, and cut it back past the split, because the split is going to prevent proper overwintering. And this includes if snowfall, as well as if you hit something with like a snowblower or a shovel and you crack it, or you harm a perennial in any way, please cut it back. My husband did this last year. He has a side-by-side with a big blade on the front that he likes to push snow around all over the neighborhood with. He hit my hydrangea plant. He didn't tell me. He's like, in the spring, he's like, yeah, I hit the hydrangea plant. That's right. I would have rather have known, because I could cut that branch back rather than breakage happening, which can make a big difference in the plant surviving over the winter. Now, this plant did survive. It did fine. But something to keep in mind, if you can cut it back earlier to prevent less water penetrating that plant and working its way down through the freeze-thaw cycle, the better. So thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Let me know when you prune your plants in the comments down below, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.